Okay, I'm really going to try to finish my sewing project today, okay? I really am, okay? But when I start getting nervous about things, see, I'm telling you, if I'm not in the right job, nothing gets done, okay? I need to feel right about my work life in order for me to feel safe and secure to be able to accomplish other goals. That's how I work. And so I think when people do these sort of things, they violate your rights. They are going against what is good for you. Okay. I wanted to cover the topic of asking permission or getting authorization approval. Okay, that is against the law. Okay, like I said, I am over the age of 18. I don't have to get any sort of authorization to do anything. Okay, and by putting a situation in place, you are subjugating me to a system that is illegal. Okay, a lot of men, like for example, I've used this as an example in some of my other videos. A lot of men in law enforcement are very crooked. I don't care what they say. Okay, and I'm very leery of cops, and I don't care who knows it. Okay, I've seen too much corruption. But a lot of, for example, a lot of men in law enforcement, if their wives decide to get a divorce, they like to use retaliation tactics, and they like pulling strings very similar to what has occurred to me. Now, maybe my family, my sister Lisa, and maybe my siblings or whatever, put in a situation in place um, to where they fought because they were competitive or whatever. And I'm not trying to be competitive. I'm simply trying to make a living, okay? Because I know one day I'm going to go old and I'm going to need, proper burial. Perhaps maybe I need things as an adult. I have some money to stash aside. Who knows? But whatever the case is, I want to die comfortably. So it's as simple as that. And I also want to enjoy my life while I have to live on this disgusting planet. So it's really not about, I could sit here, if I won $1 million, you would never hear me talk about it, okay? Because I understand certain things like that just only attract undesirable people, okay? So I live my life very quiet and very privately, okay? Everything I do for a reason, okay? I'm a smart girl. But yeah, that's illegal, okay? I am not subjugated to the Collins family, okay? And I do believe that's a racial issue, and that's ridiculous, okay? They don't really care about my son's well-being, okay? They just want to exert their sad, pathetic view of white supremacy. I have nothing to do with them. Who else could be in the mix? Polygram, she's insane, okay? I don't have any respect for her. She's like the lowest scum of the earth. And that's ridiculous, okay? So anybody who would even think that something like that should be put into place is illegal, okay? Especially since I, myself, as an adult, have never signed a contract stating, like, for example, you go to some employment agencies in situations like that where you sign a contract, like, for example, you go, I'm not going to use any employment agencies' names, okay? But let's just say, for example, there was a company called Fact 2, right? Fact 2, and you go to Fact 2 and you sign a contract, and Fact 2, tempts you out, and they tempt you out, or they permanently place you, okay? There's a contractual agreement between you and Fact 2, and therefore you are under their kind of, not under their control, but their guidance, and they help find you the right job, okay? And in those sort of situations, there is an agreement between you and them, okay? But they have your signature on it, and there's an understanding, and you understand the fine print. And if you don't understand the fine print, I suggest you read it, okay? I have signed no such document, okay? I am beholding to no one, okay? So this is what people don't understand. And so that's how a lot of, like, for example, a lot of men abuse their ex-wives, their spouses, and that. In those situations, yes, those would be considered domestic stalking issues. And in that situation, yes, indeed, that is a form of abuse, and it's illegal. And a lot of people get it in their head, like I said, do not be misled into the idea that somebody has authority over somebody. Now, in certain situations, some people do. Okay, like, for example, let's just say, for example, I had lost the ability to think for myself, okay? Generally, but I was, or operate for myself. Then usually, if you still have your full mental capacities, generally you would be involved in the signing document to sign over what I think it's called a trust or power of attorney or something like that, but I would still be present to do that, okay? I have no knowledge of any document like that, and I know I would never be stupid enough to sign over anything like that, okay? Because I'm the kind of person, I need to know that I can go wherever I want, okay? Like I said, I'm never going to live in Mississippi. Like my son talks about Mississippi, okay? And I don't think I've ever been to Mississippi. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have. But the fact of the matter is, if I want to go one day, then I want to go. I don't want to ask anybody's permission to do that. I don't have to. Okay, I'm a free woman, okay? And so a lot of white people, and I'm not bringing up race, okay, because when I talk about this from a professional standpoint, I think a lot of people think, well, you're just stirring the race pot, okay? Let's be realistic about certain things, okay? Racism does exist, okay? And this is not me accusing other people of being a part of the Ku Klux Klan or calling people flat out racist, okay? But, you know, white people do have a certain perception, and they naturally or instinctively have this behavior to where they subjugate a lot of minorities, and it comes like a natural to them, and they think that they have a right to make decisions. So, like, for example, there might be maybe a particular business person here in town who thinks that they can make certain arrangements, and they might have a contract that they might say, well, I'm going to go ahead and somehow manipulate this person into working this particular job, and the agreement is between him and another employer, but I have no knowledge of it, and yet I'm supposed to fulfill some sort of contract agreement that I have no knowledge of. That is completely illegal, and it should be null and void, okay, because I have no knowledge of it, and this person is subjecting me. He is taking away my rights. He's taking away my rights to fulfill his own. That's illegal, okay? Nobody has any right. I would never sign over my life, my rights over to anybody, okay? The day I do that, I mean, I would blow my goddamn brains out before I would do something that stupid. So no, I'm a free woman, and I need not take this to court because it's just stupid. I mean, that issue, like, I don't even have to sit here and tell the Collins family to, hey, you know what? I could sue them for being stupid like that. I could take them to court and say, you know, I'm going to sue you for even trying something that's stupid. Like, you know, you have no right to do that. I would do that. I have the right to do that because they've done something that's illegal. That contract is null and void, okay? So let's just say, for example, they arranged a job for me, and they're saying, well, she has to work it because maybe somehow or another they're finagling money. This is a scenario, okay? That they're finagling money by me. They're receiving some sort of benefit for me working there, and I have no knowledge of it, and yet they're getting some benefit of it, and I'm sitting here, my rights are being trampled on, and yet they're getting some sort of financial benefit while I'm suffering, okay? That's against the law. I would never give these people shit. And like I said, for a man who skipped out on child support for 18 years, you got a lot of goddamn nerve, okay? So I don't have to ask anybody's permission for shit. So if I wanted to move to Florida, whatever, I have the right to do that. I don't have to account to anybody for anything. And that goes for married women too. Like, for example, a lot of people want to get involved in, let's just say, for example, a couple is happily married, okay? They got the little station wagon and all this shit, and they're happy. They're the sunshine family. They're just so happy. They're just like beaming. And so a woman applies for a job, and an employer will say, well, have you talked it over with your husband? Okay, he really doesn't have the right to do that, okay, because that's something that she needs to talk about between her and her husband, okay? If her husband doesn't like it, that's something that they have to resolve between themselves, okay? It doesn't have any bearing on anything. It's against the law. There was a lady, I was reading an article about how she was going out on maternity leave, okay? So she talked to her boss about it, and her boss in turn made a phone call to her husband to discuss, you know, issues about her and the arrangements. And a lot of people, you know, they are trying to be friendly. Some people are trying to be helpful. But you know what? If you want to avoid a lawsuit or any sort of dispute, it's best to stay out of these domestic issues. He had no right to do that. Okay. So the sad part is a lot of professional, and I don't even want to call them professional people because they don't deserve that. They don't deserve to be in that situation. They should know better, and that is my point. My point is that here I am, I fully understand those things. I understand those things. Those are the things that puts you in those situations. That's what gives you the qualifications to be in those positions. Okay, and yet I'm sitting here working a shitty job. That makes no sense. And my freedom is limited. It makes no sense. Okay, it's illegal. From a racial standpoint, I'm going to say that I consider it a hate crime, or I would say that it's racially inappropriate, putting me in a form of subjugation. And no, they don't have any, they don't own me, they have no rights to me. So anyway, I need to calm down, and I know I need to look for work. I do. I cannot stay in this town. I mean, I'm getting antsy, I'm getting bitchy. I basically can't stand everybody that I come in contact with at this point. Okay, so I'm reaching boiling point. I talked about the issue at work. I'm trying very hard to put up with it. I'm trying to be polite. I'm having to basically go against my natural order of things. Okay, to do something that's of no benefit to me. That job is of no benefit to me. All the jobs that have been arranged have been of no benefit to me, because my thing is I have, my skills are good for being a leader within the workplace. It should not be anything else. Okay, it's stupid to put somebody who has leadership skills under the supervision of somebody who obviously doesn't. No offense to these people, but obviously you don't. Okay, so if your secretary spouting off a bunch of offensive things, she's swiping at you, she can't speak to you properly, and you're not handling the situation up front, and you can't confront it, then you don't have that. Okay, so then guess what? This person who has the knowledge of that is going to lose respect for you. Okay, and then sooner or later it's going to be a blow up situation. I think he made an attempt, and I do appreciate his attempt, but I'm just saying is talent scouts, these people are not knowing, they don't have the understanding of how to properly place somebody. So I have all these people who are arranging these jobs, they don't either. Like, for example, I think my sister may have been responsible for putting me at that job over downtown. I think when I got with Joanna, that was horrible. I don't know if she was responsible for that job or not, but whoever it was, that was a poorly fit job. Okay, it was poorly fit. I thought her management was horrible, and I was nice when she was sitting there crying because one of her employees resigned. She was crying about her being a shitty manager, and I was trying to be nice and whatever. And I was like, but deep down inside, do I agree? Yes, she is. Okay, because if you're going to give somebody a bad reference for basically putting a person under subjugation and taking away their rights, and then forcing them to work, and then when they start understanding that they're being put at a disadvantage, and you're putting them in a very awkward situation, and you're trying to iron out the issues of your life, then she's going to turn around and retaliate when she has no right to. Okay, this is what I'm talking about, and she's supposed to be an educated woman. This is exactly my point. Okay, so I don't have to ask anybody's permission. I am under nobody's guidance. I don't have to ask anybody. I am a 45-year-old American woman. You may not think of me as American just because my skin's dark. I am an American woman, okay, plain and simple. And this is what people need to get through their thick heads. Wrapping up this video. Have a wonderful day.